Record.
All right, good morning. Good morning, how are you? Can you both hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you.
All right, sir, can you tell me your name for the record?
Shaquan Johnson.
And you're representing yourself today?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Ma'am, can you tell me your name for the record?
Robin Isaacs.
And you're representing yourself today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so we're on for a case management conference and Dad's motion. And ma'am, I saw that you filed your opposition, and Dad, you did a reply. So, sir, what are you requesting today pursuant to your motion?
I would like the children to return to Nevada immediately.
Okay. Did you want to say anything else?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Pretty much, Robin Isaac, she took off with our children, and I never gave her permission, or the courts gave her permission to take our children to Sacramento, California, and I would like them to return here to Nevada. She hasn't really gave me any contact with our children. Yeah.
So you haven't had any visitation? Have you talked to them?
I talked to her on a bare minimum.
Okay, but you haven't seen them?
No, I haven't seen them at all. She refuses to let me see them.
Okay. All right. Do you want to say anything else?
No.
All right, ma'am, what would you like to say? And what are you requesting?
I'm requesting full physical and legal custody of our two children together. Mr. Johnson has a history of severe anxiety and depression, as well as other physical disabilities that prevent him from actually caring for our children when they are in his care. And this occurred even while we were still together. I would constantly go to work. I worked overnights at Amazon. When I went to work, I would have to come home on my lunch breaks to ensure that our children were fed and in bed, as well as I got up in the morning with our children. I took them to school. I got them from school. Like, everything was on me because Mr. Johnson is incapable of caring for himself or our children. And so I would like for, basically for him to get evaluated mentally and physically so that his disabilities can be on record, so that just to ensure that when our children do visit with him, that they are properly cared for. And I don't have a problem or issue at all with him seeing our children or having visitation or partial custody. I just want to ensure that my children are properly cared for. If that makes sense.
Okay. Sir, did you want to say anything in response?
Yes, that's not true at all. I've been with Mrs. Isaacs for 7 years. She pretty much premeditated all of this. She knew what she wanted to do from the begin with. She pretty much moved on in a whole another relationship. She knew at the time I didn't know anything about my rights. And, I mean, everything she's pretty much saying is just not true at all.
Okay. All right. Well, I have lots of questions. So the first thing I want to ask is, you both talk about an incident in Oregon that happened. So,
yes, ma'am.
Do you want to go first? What happened there? Were you guys visiting there, or what was going on?
So,
We'll let him go first. It's his motion,
okay.
So I'm going to let him go first.
Okay,
So,
that's fine.
what's your recollection of what happened in Oregon?
So at the time, we was visiting in Oregon. Before we visited in Oregon, she ran off and took the children. I didn't really know pretty much what was going on. I didn't know why she took our children. And so I was trying to resolve our issues and our problems, and we was trying to go back to Washington because that's what we initially agreed to before she ran off and took the children to Sacramento, California. And out there, pretty much what happened was we got into an argument. Her nails was done, and she ended up actually grabbing me with her hand, and she broke her nail, and then the police arrived and they took me to jail, and the case got dismissed.
Okay, so hold on a second. I just want to understand. So you said you were in Oregon, but you wanted to go to Washington. Do you mean to live there?
We were there. We were there to visit to see if we were gonna like Washington before we left Vegas.
Okay.
And from there, once we got to Washington, she ran off and took the children to Sacramento, California.
From Washington or from Oregon?
From Washington. So Oregon is like 2 to 3 hours away from Washington. We ended up in Washington to stop out there to, for our children to use the restroom or whatever. And at that time, that's when I got arrested for domestic violence.
So you were arrested in Washington?
Oregon.
In Oregon.
In Oregon.
Okay. And you said that you were arrested, but it was dismissed?
Yes, it was dismissed.
Okay. Ma'am, from your perspective, what happened?
We put in our 30-day notice, and we plan to move from Las Vegas to Washington State. We did do that on October 1st. We went to Washington. At that time, we did not have a place of our own. We were staying with friends. My son boxed at the time, and so his trainer, we stayed in the camper on their property. Me and Mr. Johnson had irreconcilable differences. I called my mom to come and get me. She came and got me and our children. We went all the way back came here to Sacramento. Mr. Johnson came as well. He followed us, and they called the police. The police then told him that there was no custody order, and so the children could stay with me or they could stay with him. But whoever had the children at the time, that's who they would be staying with, as long as they were in a safe environment. And they checked my mother's home. It was a safe environment. At that time, me and Mr. Johnson were still trying to work out a custody order on our custody situation, really on our own. And we were having conversations. At that time, he said, because it was his birthday, he said, can he take the kids and me out for his birthday? We can continue to talk. At that time, I said yes. When he came and picked us up, he then threw my phone out of the window and proceeded to say that we were going to Las Vegas. When we got to, I believe, Bakersfield, I called my mother and I let her know what was going on. And I convinced Mr. Johnson to turn around. And at that time, when we had turned around, we had got all the way back to Woodland. In Woodland, there was another police report. I believe he has filed it with you guys. But there was another police report, and I then told the police department in Woodland that I did not want to be with Mr. Johnson, and that basically they told me that the kids are good with him, and that either I'm going to stay or I'm going to leave. So I decided to stay. Me and Mr. Johnson continued to drive on to Oregon, at that time towards Washington, and we drove to Oregon, and at that time we were arguing consistently in the vehicle, and he had pulled over onto the side of the road. When he got onto the side of the road, he dragged me out of the vehicle, and he jumped back into the vehicle. I grabbed onto the vehicle. That is how I broke my nails. I grabbed onto the door of the vehicle, and I broke my nails. There was a truck driver that actually called the police, and at that point, Mr. Johnson was arrested, and my mom came and got me, and I traveled back to Sacramento, California with our children.
Okay, I just want to clarify so I understand. So, you guys were leaving Vegas and heading towards Washington.
Yes.
So what happened when he threw the phone out of the window?
When he threw the phone out of the window, because I believe, I'm not sure where his mindset was at this time, but I believe he had a preconceived notion that if we went back to Vegas, everything would go back to how it was before we left. But it was inconceivable, and so I don't know exactly where his mindset was, and so he had continued on to try to go to Vegas. And I don't know really where his mind was at that point.
Did you get your phone back?
No, I did not get that phone back.
So your phone was thrown out the window and you never saw it again?
I never saw it again.
And then you said he dragged you out of the car?
Yes, ma'am.
And the kids were there and saw this?
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. And then you said you broke your nose?
My nails.
Oh,
My fingernails. Yes.
Thanks for clarifying that. Okay, you broke your nails and you said a trucker called the police.
Yes, ma'am.
And this was in Oregon or Washington?
It was in Oregon.
In Oregon. So did the police come out?
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened?
And we both spoke to the police. I believe Mr. Johnson has a few recordings of our arguments. My part of our arguments that he showed the police that I guess proved that he was innocent. But that was all after he was arrested. He was arrested. They had put us up into a hotel for the night. And then my mom had him and got us in the morning. I believe at that point, Mr. Johnson had bailed himself out of jail as well.
So what videos are you talking about? You said he had videos.
I don't know if they're video recordings or if they're audio recordings. I'm not too sure.
Okay. So, but can you describe to me what happened when you say you were dragged out of the car? What does that mean? Like, what exactly happened?
So, he got out of the car, and when he got out of the car, he was driving. He got out of the car on the driver's side. I was in the passenger side. I hopped over the center console and got into the driver's side. And basically, at that point, he was like, get out of my car, get out of my car, get out of my car. And he literally opened the door and dragged me physically out of the vehicle. And he tossed me onto the ground. And at that point, he got back into the car. And then I jumped onto the door of the car so he couldn't close the door. And he proceeded to try to drive off. And that's how my nails got broke while I was holding onto the vehicle.
And the kids were in the car at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying he wanted to leave you there and take the kids in the car? After
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I know you want to tell me your side of it. So did that happen?
No. I did not throw her phone out the window. Like I said, Your Honor, Robin Isaacs knew exactly what she was doing. Like I said...
But I want you to respond to her allegations. So you didn't throw the phone out the window. What happened to the phone?
I don't know what phone she's talking about, Your Honor.
So you have no idea what she's talking about?
Oh.
Okay. What about the incident that led to the arrest? And she broke her nail, nails. What happened there?
Like I said, she grabbed me. Her fingernail got broken. And the police, once they arrived, they asked us what happened. And we got into an argument. And they arrested me. Before they arrested me, they told me why I didn't even call the police. And I said, because she's my wife and these are my children. And so they arrested me, and I ended up going to jail, and that was it.
Okay, but I'm not understanding what happened from you. Can you describe what happened?
Say it again?
Can you describe what happened at the car? How did her nails get broken? What happened?
So on October 17, 2021, on my birthday,
Okay.
Mrs. Isaacs tried to get me arrested in Woodland, California. And so she could not get me arrested by letting the police, she tried to tell the police, okay, he's kidnapped me and taking the children. They knew that wasn't true. So on October 18th of 2021, she did everything in her power to try to get me arrested, and she did exactly just that.
So can you tell me what she did?
So when we got to Oregon, we got out the car. She ended up grabbing me. Her nails was just done, and her nails were just done, and she grabbed me, and her fingernail broke. Once her fingernail broke, before I knew it, then the witness had called the police. Once the police arrived, I ended up going to jail.
Okay, so she said that you got out of the car and she hopped into the driver's seat. Did that happen?
No.
No?
No.
So at any point in time, was she in the driver's seat and you tried to grab her and get her out of the car?
No.
So where did this altercation take place?
In Oregon.
Were you outside of the car? Or
We were outside of the car when this took place.
Okay. Were you behind the car, away from the car, on her side, the driver's side? Where were you?
We were away from the car.
How far away from the car were you?
I would say probably 10, 15 feet.
And where were the kids?
The kids were still in the car.
Okay. So she said that you tried to leave her there and go with the kids. Is that accurate?
No. I actually tried to return back to Washington like we agreed to. I didn't try to leave her at all. She ended up actually, once the police took me to jail, she ran off and took the car and the kids, and I haven't seen the children ever since then.
Okay.
So the videos that she's talking about, I actually was recording her because on my birthday, she was doing everything in her power to try to put me in jail. And so on October 18th of 2021, I was recording her and recording the officers as well because I didn't want her to intentionally put me in jail like she tried, well, she actually did.
Uh-huh.
So I do have a video of her in the car, and I'm explaining to her, like, look, why are you taking the kids? She's saying she was like, my kids are already enrolled in school in California. I already got a job lined up in California. She's doing all of this, and we've never even agreed to our children even be in California at all. So again, Your Honor, I understand that, Robin Isaac is trying to prove herself, but at the same time, Mrs. Isaac, she premeditated all of this. She knew I didn't even know my rights. I didn't even know being married, we had the same rights at all. And she knew that.
Okay. All right. So my next question is there any history of domestic violence besides this incident that you described? So, ma'am, is there any history?
There's no documented history of domestic violence, no.
I didn't ask that. I asked if there was a history of domestic violence.
Yes, there is a history of domestic violence.
Okay, what does that mean to you?
To me, as far as that goes, it means that there is a history of mental and physical abuse in the household. That's really what it means to me.
Okay, can you tell me more specifically what you're talking about?
There has been times where Mr. Johnson, even while being in the military, has kicked me in my legs and left bruises. He slapped me in my face. I have a scar right here. I have a scar right here on my eyebrow. There has been times where he has choked me. There has been a time where he slapped me so hard in my face that I couldn't hear out of my ear. I still actually have problems hearing out of my left ear. Situations like that.
Did you ever seek medical attention?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Even when everything was going on, when we first separated, I still didn't want to press charges as far as the situation in Oregon. I don't believe that Mr. Johnson deserves to be in jail. I believe that more so than anything, he needs to seek help mentally, because prior to the military, he was never like that. I feel like a lot of it came from his military interactions, and I just think he really needs help more so than anything else. Not jail time.
All right. So, sir, I'll give you a chance to respond. So she's saying that there's a history of physical abuse. What's your response to that?
There's no history of abuse, Your Honor. Like I said, I didn't know that Robin Isaacs was going to do this. Like I said, Your Honor, she premeditated all of this. She knew everything about the jurisdiction. She knew I didn't know anything about the jurisdiction. But there's no history as far as abuse.
Okay, so when she says that you kicked her or choked her, that didn't happen?
No.
No? Okay. All right. Is there any Child Protective Services intervention? Have they ever been contacted that you know of?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
I believe after we had left Las Vegas, there was, from what Mr. Johnson had told me, there was a CPS case in Clark County. But as far as now, there was a CPS case back in, I believe, November of 2021, where Child Protective Services was sent to my mother's home on concern of my children's welfare. They had stated that there were guns in the home and that there were gang members in the home and that there was no food and that they were concerned for my children's well-being. And everything was unfounded.
Okay, so there's one in Clark County and one in California?
Yes, ma'am.
So, sir, are you aware of those two investigations?
I'm only aware of the one that here in the state of Nevada. I'm not aware of.
Okay, what happened in here in Clark County?
So, at the time we were getting ready to leave Vegas, Mrs. Isaacs disenrolled our son, Shaquan Johnson Jr., out of school. I didn't know that he was missing so many days of school. So once we had left Vegas, we ended up actually getting a phone call from CPS, and I believe that's exactly the reason why CPS got involved, because he was missing so many days of school.
Okay, that's your understanding?
That's my understanding, yes.
Does that sound right, Mom?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I'd like to say this in conjunction to that. He missed so much school because he had COVID, and then his brothers had COVID, and also Mr. Johnson had COVID as well during that time.
Okay. So that was the only reason that CPS got involved? Was the schooling?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you guys, when did you take the kids out of school in Clark County?
I believe August of 2021. Well, no, it had to be September, right? September of 2021.
All right.
Because that was right before we left.
Okay, and your intention, and I want to ask you both this, was that you were going to move from Vegas and move to Washington?
Yes,
Is that right?
ma'am.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then when it didn't work out, ma'am, you went to California, and sir, you came back to Vegas?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Is that about right? Okay. Ma'am, have you filed anything in California, court-wise?
No, ma'am, I have not.
Okay, so I just want to be really clear with everybody. So the kids lived here for about 2 years before you were both going to move to Washington, but that move really didn't happen. So, and there's no case in California. So jurisdiction over the kids is here in Nevada. Okay, so that's the order that I'm making a finding. So this court has jurisdiction because, again, the children were here for 2 years. Then both of you were going to move. That didn't happen. And then Mom went to California with the kids. She hasn't filed anything there. And Dad came back to Vegas. So that much we know. And there were no custody orders in place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So, ma'am, when did you enroll the kids in school in California?
October of 2021. As soon as I felt that we were going to be staying here, I enrolled them in school.
Okay, so they were disenrolled from Vegas in September of 21, and then you enrolled them in California in October of 21.
Yes, ma'am.
So did they go to school in California?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right, so they've been in school in California since October of last year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
When does the school year start in California?
Their next school year starts August 18th. Hey, no, get out of here real quick, okay? I'm on the phone. You can come back when I'm done.
Okay, so I just want to make sure the kids can't hear us, correct?
No, they cannot.
Okay.
I have my AirPods in.
All right, thank you for clarifying that. So when does school start in California?
August 18th.
August 18th, and I think it's about that time here too. Okay. And what grades will they be in?
Our youngest son will be in TK, which is transitional kindergarten. I don't know if they have that out there in Las Vegas. And then our oldest son together will be going to first grade.
So, ma'am, Dad said that he hasn't had any visitation since you went to California. So that's quite a long time. Why is that?
Just because of the situation for his birthday, I felt like my children's safety was a concern, and that I felt like just in general he wouldn't bring them back. Especially after us talking to all the police that we talked to. I believe there was 3 or 4 police calls, and they all told us the same thing. If he has the kids, he can do whatever he wants with the kids. He doesn't have to bring them back. I don't have to bring them back, and so on and so forth. And so I just felt like it was a situation to where once he got visitation with our children, that he wouldn't bring them back. And as I've told Mr. Johnson, I just want a court order that says that, okay, I have this time with the kids, you have this time with the kids. To where it wasn't a situation to where I couldn't bring them back, you can't bring them back, or anything like that. We have it in writing that this is exactly what it is.
Okay. All right. So I want to switch the focus a little. So we're also on for a case management conference, which means that we talk about how much time you need to get ready, because this is going to have to go to a trial since you guys don't agree. And you did go to mediation already, right? And that was not successful? Is that right?
Ma'am.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how quickly can you guys be ready for a trial?
120 days.
You need 120 days? Okay. All right. How far apart are you, and what would the transportation be to facilitate a temporary visitation schedule? How far apart?
Driving, we're about 8 hours apart.
8 hours. And what about flights?
Flights, they're about an hour, hour and a half. They're not too far.
And have you looked into the price of those?
No, I have not.
So
Especially recently with inflation. No.
Have you looked into any of that, sir?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Have you looked into any flights or anything as far as transportation or how much it would be?
Not. No, I haven't.
No? Okay.
Can I have permission to speak?
Of course. Go ahead.
Can the courts return the kids to their home state?
Well, I'm trying to figure out, anything we do today is a temporary order. You need to have the trial because the judge needs to hear all the evidence and make a final decision. Whatever is done today is temporary. And I have the issue of the alleged domestic violence. Also, it's a little unique because you guys had already disenrolled the kids from school here in Vegas and you were deciding to move. And then Mom went ahead to California. Now, it is not right that there's been no visitation. And that should not have been withheld at all. But I'm not clear. Oh, so, ma'am, what would be your concern with the kids coming here to visit with Dad?
My only concern would be like his mental and physical welfare, and if he's actually capable of taking care of the children on his own. He's never been in a position to where he had to take care of our children on his own, and the lack of self-care, especially in our relationship, and the lack of care for our children while we were together raises a lot of red flags for me.
Okay. So I'll give you a chance to respond to that, of course.
Your Honor, that's not true at all. Again, I've been with Mrs. Isaacs for 7 years. She's never had this issue before until now. She knows that I'm a loving father. She knows that when I got out of the service, which was August 2019, I was a stay-at-home dad while she was working at Amazon. So for her to say that I have these mental issues and these disabilities that I'm not able to take care of myself or our children, I don't understand that. Since me being arrested and once it got dismissed, I've done everything in my power to try to communicate with Mrs. Isaac about our children, to even see them. And she still does not allow me to see them. So she's trying to use my mental disability and my disabled disabilities as if like I'm a problem to be around our children. And Your Honor, that's not true at all.
Okay. All right.
Get out. I told you I will let you know, son.
Okay. Sir, are you on any medication or?
Yes, I am. I'm on sertraline.
Okay.
Depression.
For depression. Okay. All right. And you said you were a stay-at-home dad?
Yes, I was a stay-at-home dad, Your Honor, since August of 2019.
Okay. So, ma'am, is that accurate?
Mr. Johnson was a disabled veteran. I wouldn't call him a stay-at-home dad. He did stay home. He was not employed. But I did work overnights so that I could care for our children during the day.
Well, when did you sleep?
I barely slept because I had to take care of Mr. Johnson as well.
What does that mean, that you had to take care of him?
As far as Mr. Johnson, I was responsible for giving him his medications, ordering his medications, setting up his doctor's appointments, ensuring that he got to and from his doctor's appointments. Sometimes I even had to make him bathe. I had to give him haircuts and things of that nature because he literally wouldn't get out of bed. So Mr. Johnson can say everything that he's saying right now, but this is actually documented in his medical records, and that's why I asked for his medical records to be brought into the court case. Me and him both have had these conversations with his doctors.
Sir, is that accurate or no?
Your Honor, as her being my wife, she definitely did help. You know, we helped each other. Again, me coming out of the service, you know, I end up having depression. I do have disabilities, but that never stopped me from being the best father that I could be towards our children. And when she says that she was taking care of me and she was taking care of the children, yeah, she took care of all of us. We took care of each other. But for her to say, try to make it sound like she just took care of me and took care of the children and I didn't help at all, I don't understand that. Again, Your Honor, I've been with her for 7 years, and we've never had this issue until now.
Okay. And so you said you're on medication, so you're taking that regularly, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask something?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson, are you only on sertraline or are you on all your other medications as well?
I'm on sertraline, I'm on trazodone, I'm on, and that's it.
Okay.
But again, these mental disabilities and these disabilities that I have, Your Honor, she's trying to make it seem like I'm not able to take care of myself or take care of our children. Again, she knows that I've been taking care of our children, helping her take care of the children. We've been helping each other take care of the children, our family as a whole. When she decided to just jump up and leave and take our children because she moved on into a new relationship, then this is when all this ended up happening, Your Honor.
Okay. So I want to go back because I have a question. So, ma'am, at the time of the arrest in Oregon, did you tell the police that he pulled you out of the vehicle and threw you to the ground?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am, I did.
The arrest report?
I do not have the arrest report, but I can get the arrest report.
But I mean, you told the police that at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So I think here's what we're going to do. Just give me a second. So the complication is that school starts soon, right? And Madam Clerk, if we open discovery and closed in 120 days, what date would that make?
Judge, that's the first week of November. It would be November 8th.
November 8th? Okay. Thank you. And then, ma'am, you said that he threw your phone out the window. Was that
I'm
not?
sorry.
I'm sorry, could you hear me?
No, it was breaking up. I'm sorry.
All right. You said that he threw your phone out of the window of the car.
Yes, ma'am.
So when did you get a new phone?
I got a new phone. It was in October. It was towards the end of October. I actually got a new phone, and I put it on my mother's plan. She helped me get a new phone.
So how long did you not have a phone?
I would say maybe 2 weeks.
Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get some information clear in my head.
Okay.
What was the date that the phone you said was thrown out the window?
October 17th. Either the 16th or the 17th of October.
Okay. So when the incident happened it was the 18th, that October 18th, the incident happened in Oregon?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And you didn't have a phone at that time?
No, I did not.
Sir, were you aware that she didn't have a phone?
Your Honor, she did have a phone. On the police report, it stated that she had called her mom and saying that she was being held against her will. So I don't understand how she's saying she didn't have a phone. She had her phone, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I called my mother from the hotel room phone.
Okay, and you said your mom got you a phone about 2 weeks later?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what I would like is I want either one of you to get the arrest report from Oregon
Okay.
and the proof that you got your new phone.
Okay.
And then, so was your old phone on the plan? Do you guys have a plan together? Did you have one together?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so where'd you have that through? Like T-Mobile or Sprint or
We had it through T-Mobile.
T-Mobile? Okay.
Mhm.
And so you had your two phones on the same plan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
So you know when you get a bill or you can go online. So ma'am, did you report your phone stolen or what happened? Or
No, ma'am. I just got another phone. And Mr. Johnson, when I actually had got another phone, I just got a SIMS card from T-Mobile so that I could just stay on the same plan. But then Mr. Johnson had actually suspended my line. And then, so I just went all the way over to my mom's plan.
Okay, so ma'am, you said you made the phone call from the hotel room to your mom, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because you didn't have your cell phone.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so sir, you still have your T-Mobile plan?
Yes.
So you can go on there and get the list of all the calls made, right, off of both of the phones?
Yes.
All right, so are you saying that she had her phone with her?
So that number that she had as a family plan, she actually abandoned that number before all of this even occurred.
What
So
is that?
so the number that we had as a family plan, when she knew that I caught on to her premeditating and taking the kids and keeping them from me, she abandoned that number that she had on our family plan and got a whole new number. And I didn't even know her whole new number, just like she blocked me on Facebook. So when she blocked me on Facebook, she actually abandoned her number that she had as far as that was on our family plan. So she had a phone, and then she ended up getting another phone. So the other phone that she ended up having, she had that same phone the whole time. So I don't know what she's talking about, Your Honor. I really don't.
Ma'am, my mom and my siblings can literally attest, his cousin can attest, that when I went with him, I had contact with him, and then all of a sudden there was no contact. My family members were calling his phone and seeing where I was at to make sure I was okay because they knew the situation. And I couldn't respond. He did not respond. And so his cousin called because my family were calling his family to ensure that I was okay.
Can I have permission to speak?
Yes.
So that time that she's talking about, they did call me, but everything was good between me and Robin on my birthday. So I don't know what she's talking about because when I spoke with them, I told her, just like I told them, everything was good. And I even posted on Facebook that everything was good between me and Robin Isaacs, that we were trying to figure out what we're going to do as far as our marital issues at the time. So I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay. All right, so, ma'am, do you still have access to the T-Mobile bill too?
No, I do not.
All right, so, sir, she doesn't have access to that, only you can get it? The call
Yes.
logs? All right, so, sir, can you get the call logs from October?
Yes.
Okay. And, ma'am, can you get the arrest report?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to make a temporary order, and then I'm going to bring this back because you're going to need a temporary decision about school. So, do you think 2 weeks is enough for you guys to get that information? It should be, because, sir, you can go right online and print it. And, ma'am, you can go ahead and request the report from the arrest.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, okay. So here's what we're doing. First of all, as I stated earlier, Nevada has jurisdiction over the children because there's no other court that would have jurisdiction at this point in time, and there's no other court case that's been filed. So I'm confirming that Nevada has jurisdiction. There are allegations of domestic violence, so I think it's important that we see, and both parties are disagreeing as to what actually happened that day and what happened the day before regarding the phone being allegedly tossed out of the car. So I want to get the T-Mobile records. So, sir, are you saying you have no idea what she's talking about when she said you threw the phone out of the car?
Yeah, I don't know what she's talking about, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're going to get the T-Mobile records, and we're going to get the arrest report from Oregon. Now, as I stated, it's really not appropriate that Dad has not seen the kids for all this amount of time. And, ma'am, if you were concerned about a custody order, you really should have gone to court to get one, right? Not just...
The only problem with that is in California, you have to be a resident for 6 months before you can file anything. And by that time, he had already filed in Las Vegas.
Right.
So it was,
Okay.
Okay.
But when you guys went to mediation, you also could have agreed on some sort of...
I did. Ma'am, I did. He's the one that disagreed.
Okay. All right, so right now, the temporary order is that you share joint legal and joint physical custody, and Dad is going to have the kids immediately because he has not seen them. And then he's going to have them, so we need to talk about getting them to Dad. So what do you guys think would be best for transportation?
At this time, I don't have a vehicle, so, he can always come and get them, and I can fly to go and pick them up from him.
Your Honor, I can go pick them up immediately.
Okay. All right, so you want to drive there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
And you know where she is, right?
I don't know where she is right now, but I know where she stays. I know where her mom stays.
Okay, so ma'am, what's the address that the kids are at?
1340 Stephanie Avenue. He knows. We're at my mom's house.
All right, do you have that address, sir?
Yes, I have that address.
And all right, at her mom's? Okay. All right. So, So we're going to come back in 2 weeks because I need to see, it's kind of hard to figure out who's telling the truth. So these are concrete facts, whether that phone is used. Oh, and ma'am, I'm sorry, I think I forgot to say, I also want the proof of when you got the new phone.
Okay.
Plan.
I can get that to you.
So I just want to see what corroborates, each of your stories.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, sir, all right, let's see. It's about 10:15 now. Are you planning on driving today? That's a long drive, right? 8 hours. Are you going to make a round trip? Or are you going to stay there?
I can get them by tomorrow. I can get them tomorrow.
Okay. All right. So, can you guys at least communicate as to when you're going to be there? Communicating now at all? Did I hear somebody was blocked, or was that Facebook you said?
That was on Facebook. He is blocked on Facebook. He's actually blocked from all of my social medias just because of the things that he was saying to me. But we can communicate as far as when he will be getting the children. Our children do have their own devices that he has access to call, and so I can communicate with him on those.
Okay, but you guys need to have a phone number to reach each other. You can't put the kids.
I believe he has my phone number. I have his phone number.
Can you tell us what it is so he knows what it is?
Absolutely. It's 916-701-3617. I've texted him from my phone number before.
Okay, and is he blocked on your phone number?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so what I'd like you both to download is called Talking Parents. It's an app, and you can do all your communication through there. And that way you'll have a record of it if you need it for court.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so
What is it called again? I'm sorry.
Talking Parents.
Talking Parents.
Yeah. And if for some reason you can't download it, please make sure you text each other. Okay?
Okay.
All right. So, sir, you're going to get the kids tomorrow. And then we're going to get the evidence we just talked about. Each of you, are you clear on what I'm asking for?
Yes. You want my, from when I got my new phone,
Right.
and the arrest record.
And, sir, you're going to get the call logs October?
Yes.
That for her phone?
Yes.
That she was using. Okay, perfect. All right, and so, sir, you're requesting 120 days for discovery. That's what I heard, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Madam Clerk, what is the pretrial date?
Judge, it's November 8th at 11 a.m.
All right, so November 8th at 11 a.m. And on November 8th, discovery closes. And when you come to court that day, the judge is going to ask you if you're ready to set the trial date, and she'll set it then.
Okay.
If you guys haven't reached an agreement. Do you think it would be beneficial to go back to mediation?
No, Your Honor.
No? Okay. All right, I just wanted to ask. All right. So right now, Dad's going to have the kids until further order of the court. You come back in 2 weeks, and then based on what the judge finds, she'll make a decision as to what's going to happen temporarily until you go to trial and where they're going to be primarily. Because obviously with school, if they were younger, we could do more of a shared custody situation. But the fact that at least your oldest has to be in school, we're going to have to pick which state they're going to class in until the evidentiary hearing. Okay? And ma'am, I want to point out that you should probably be filing a motion for relocation if that's what you're asking for. Okay? All right. So with that, so didn't hear any problems tomorrow. We can pick up the kids, right?
Say it again, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
There shouldn't be any problem when he comes tomorrow to get the kids?
No.
Okay. And is there anything, are they on any medication? Is there anything special you should know?
No.
They're not, okay, great, wonderful. All right, and then while they're with Dad, obviously, ma'am, if you want to call, you can call and check on them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll call like a couple days a week. What's a good time to call?
Your Honor, she can call anytime.
Anytime. All right, great. Thank you for that. Okay, so, sir, you need to prepare the order from today. Okay?
Say it again. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You need to prepare the order from today's hearing.
Yes.
Okay? All right, and you guys have the next 2 court dates, right?
No. What is the
don't have
first
this.
one? I'm sorry.
Judge, we didn't get the 2 weeks.
Oh, I'm
return.
sorry. All right, so Madam Clerk, what's the 2 weeks date?
July 26th at 10:30.
Okay. July 26th at 10:30, and then we had November 8th at 11.
Yes.
And discovery's open, and that it closes on November 8th, and you should be getting a trial set shortly thereafter.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, sir, you'll prepare the order, and you're going to go tomorrow to pick up the kids. Okay? All right, thank you. All right, we're
Okay,
adjourned.
thank you.